Hey everybody, hope everybody's doing good. In this video, I'm going to take a look at a Kodak Playful camera that our good friend Old64Goat was showing us in one of his videos. He was having a problem with it. The problem and the symptom was that it wouldn't power on. The on-off switch wasn't working, and he wasn't able to use the camera. He did prove the battery was good, and also when you plug it in, it was charging. So there was no issue with the charging circuit. So Bill, I don't know how you took it apart because those screws are like microscopic. But we're going to take it apart and we're going to take a look at it and see if we can fix it. And if we do fix it, I'm going to send it back and give it to Tommy and he could use it. All right? So let's take a look and see how it went. Be back. Hey everybody, hope everybody's doing good. So what we're working on today is Bill's camera. It's a Kodak Playful camera. And those of you that know Old64Goat know that he had this camera, I think it was Tommy's, and he was unable to get it to power on, and he took it apart, and obviously it's like sub-miniature electronics in here, so even I can't see this. So when Bill says he can't see it, he's not kidding. So I've been working on getting this thing disassembled. First of all, it has proprietary screws, which are a real pain in the ass. And I'll see if I can zoom in on this one and show you the head that it has. See that? So if you take a jeweler's screwdriver and you go in at just about the right angle, you can get them out. So we've got this side off. This is where the battery goes. Okay? And then we've just removed two screws here, and there's a little ribbon cable right here, which I'm not going to touch. Our power switch is right here. Okay, it's right underneath the screen. I believe if I remove this ribbon cable, that screen will pull right out and maybe I can get under there. So that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to take this thing apart. We've got nothing to lose. It doesn't work. And what I told Bill is if I can get it working, I'll send it back to him. So that's where we're going to go. I do have a way to charge the battery. It does use a standard USB 5-volt connection, so that's no problem. So we're going to try to take this thing apart and see what we could do. So I'm not going to bore you with all the details on that. Let me try to get this disassembled and then I'll come back. Okay, I think we're getting close. I've been able to get the screen off, right? And I've been able to get this control panel off. And the way you do that is, this is going to be tough to see here because it's really small. But you see that black line right there? You just flip that up and it releases the ribbon cable. Same thing here. So when I reinsert it, I'm going to put the cable in and then push down on that black tab. Maybe you could see it there. That's how you lock it in. So thankfully here we have a couple of Phillips screws that we're going to try to remove and see if we can get underneath and get to that power switch and see what's going on with that. So let me get to that. Be back at you. Alright, we have success. We got our board completely removed from the camera right here. We didn't do any damage. And Bill, here's the switch. Let me see if I could get this on the camera. Right here is the switch. And when I took it out, the switch was bent backwards, which means when you push the button, it wasn't making contact. So what I'm going to do, before I put this thing back in, first of all I'm going to take a look and see how it's connected. I have to get my magnifier and take a peek at it. And I may put a dab of hot glue there just to hold it. And then I'll reconnect everything and we'll see if it powers on. Or I can probably just do a continuity test here if I can find the connections. So I'll see what I'll do. Here's the rest of it. So everything, it actually comes apart pretty easy. It's just really small. Here's the camera assembly. And again, it's another ribbon cable I had to take out. So that's good. And we're going to see if we can, if that switch is working or what the story is on it. So lots and lots and lots of little screws on this thing. Okay, so let me see if I can get the switch working and then we'll go back to it. Okay, we have the circuit board mounted back in the chassis. And you're probably not going to hear this, but the power switch actually does have a feel to it now, so it seems to be working. Looks like we're making good contact. I can see down in there. So So I'm going to continue putting this thing back together, and then we'll do a test. Okay? Be back. Okay, we're making good steady progress here putting this thing back together. I think the next thing we need to do is put the screen on, I think. And that's going to be right here. And the way this works is, again, you lift up this tab, and I believe this goes underneath here, like so, and I have to slide that into that little clip there. I'm going to need to do this under a magnifying glass. Maybe you could see it. Hopefully I can. Let's see. Anybody want a bird? It's going to be a little tricky to get in there. I think she just slid in. We'll close that up. And there's our screen. Okay? And then the next thing we need to do is put the control panel on, which is right here. I think let's see. This has to slip into here. Sorry, you can't see. It slips right into there. So let me do that off camera, and then we'll come back. We'll probably be ready for a power on. Alright, I've taken it apart again because I didn't like the way the switch felt, and now I see what's going on. There's two little solder connections that hold that switch down. When I put it back in, it rode up again. So I'm going to attempt to solder that. That's really small stuff. But I have a very small solder tip here. Where is it? I think it's this one right here. And I'm going to see if I can tack that thing down, and I think that'll fix it. So let me go try that. Again, I don't know if you could see this because the light really sucks, and let's see if we can magnify it maybe. I was able to tack solder this thing down, so we're going to see if it works. Who knows? Alright, so a little bit of a further update. I got the camera back together. The on-off switch is perfect now. It's working well, but the push button doesn't work. And I remember Bill in his video saying that the push button used to have a spring action. You could hear it click. Well, I took the button off, and there is a spring indeed inside there. And the spring was sideways. It wasn't in there correctly. So we're going to put this thing back together. Hopefully the button will be able to, because I was pushing the button and it wasn't moving. I'm like, that's not good, because I'm able to see it through this little hole right here. So we're going to get this button reinstalled and see if we can get it to actually, return back after you push it. So let's do that. Alright, we have the spring reinstalled, and the switch now does go in and out and return. See that? Wasn't doing that before. So hopefully we freed up this mechanism and installed the spring correctly, and that'll be enough to put the power switch on. We'll find out. Let's put it back together. I'm starting to get a little worried because you only get so many times with these flat ribbon cables, taking them in and out. You don't get unlimited tries here, so I'm already on my third try, but we'll give it a shot. The other problem before I stop, in this little cavity here, that's where the microphone goes, and if it's not in correctly, it's going to get in the way of the switch. I also found that microphone was a little out of skew too, so we're going to try to get it back in right. Let's give it a shot. Alright, we got it all back together again. The switch is much, much better. I can definitely feel it when you push it. We just plugged our battery in. Let's see what happens. Ooh, check it out. Check it out, Bill. It's working. Very cool. So the problem was the switch itself was bent, and I had to resolder it, and the spring that's in the switch was actually sideways for some reason. So it looks like we're in good shape here. I'm going to finish putting this thing back together, and I'll show you when it's done. Well, guys, camera's back together. I was even able to get these side panels in. Everything's put back together, and about 10 years ago I decided to buy some jeweler's screws for a project I was working on. I never used them, and they came in handy here because some of these screws were missing, and I actually have the right size here. And the thing that's odd is that Kodak used a proprietary screw head, so it was a little bit of a pain in the ass to get them off, so I was able to replace the ones that are missing with standard slotted screws. So let's power it on. I don't know how long the battery's good, if it's a good battery or not, Bill. So if if you want me to replace the battery before I send it back to you, let me know. Happy to do that, being that I can get in there easily. So I don't know if it's a new battery or not. I don't remember you saying that. But let me know in the comments or shoot me an email and let me know. But I'm happy to put another battery in there so you could use this thing. So we're in good shape, and it's been a fun little project here to try to get this thing apart and see how it works. And I can imagine if this thing was made today, it would be made even smaller. So this was a real challenge, but everything's working great. All right, thanks for watching. Take care.